Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. This is not a random mistake. The algorithm did not bring you to this room today. Heaven intercepted your digital feed today because a sovereign decree has been issued regarding your career and your true purpose on this earth. I need your absolute attention for the next few minutes. Anchor your spirit to my voice while the noise of the world fades away. If you leave now, you walk back onto a dangerous battlefield without your armor. Let us talk about your job. You feel an unusual heaviness in your chest every single morning. Your body is completely exhausted before the day even begins. Sleep cannot fix this specific kind of tired because your physical body is carrying the weight of a spiritual war that happens while you rest. You drag yourself to that office desk every day while your inner architecture screams for a divine release from this mundane prison. You thought you were just lazy or failing at life, but heaven says it is something entirely different. You sit in those meetings and feel completely alone. The people around you look normal, but their words feel like sandpaper to your spirit. You cannot fake a happy smile anymore, because your entire spiritual system completely rejects the artificial energy of that corporate room. They have started to distance themselves from you for no clear reason. Your manager looks at you with a strange hostility while you are only trying to do your work. Do not be confused by their sudden coldness. You work hard every week, but your bank account remains frozen. You look at your paycheck and feel a deep sense of injustice. The corporate ladder feels like a sophisticated treadmill that was explicitly designed to keep you running in place until your energy is gone. You watch less qualified people get promoted while your efforts are completely ignored. This limitation is not a reflection of your value. The enemy wants you to believe that this cubicle is your maximum capacity. Your nervous system is operating in a constant state of alert. You suddenly wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning with your heart racing. The room is silent, but your waking mind is filled with an intense urgency that you can neither explain nor ignore. You look at the dark ceiling and wonder if you will ever escape from this endless cycle of financial survival. You pray for a breakthrough, but the brass ceiling feels completely unbreakable. Heaven has heard your midnight whispers. You have spent years being the universal problem solver in that office. Your kindness was met with betrayal and secret gossip behind your back. They greedily used your high frequency to lift their low environments, and then they cast you aside. This toxic cycle must come to an end immediately. You hide in your isolated car during lunch breaks just to protect your peace and refuse to participate in their drama. You do not belong in their matrix anymore. Let me reframe your daily workplace agony right now. You are not stuck because you are weak or failing in life. The enemy is working overtime against your livelihood because he detected a massive shift that is happening in your blueprint. They build thick walls around your financial destiny. Your freedom is their fear, but their authority over your labor expires today. Your current isolation at work is not a punishment from God. It is a sacred separation designed to protect your inner architecture. Heaven is intentionally clearing your toxic office relationships because those low frequencies cannot travel with you to the next level of destiny. The door is firmly closing on your career because that corporate room has become far too small for your magnificent magnitude. You are being pushed out of the nest so you can finally learn to fly. Before we dive deeper into this divine strategy, I want to be entirely transparent with you. Your financial restoration is extremely urgent. I am not going to build artificial suspense just to push a commercial product at the very end of this sacred message. Some of you are already feeling a powerful pull in your spirit right now. For those who are ready to act right now, I will name the solution immediately so you can choose your path. There is a specific digital activation protocol. It is called the Genius Song. This is a 7-minute audio frequency designed to reactivate your dormant brainwave patterns. Famous scientists at MIT and Princeton have measured this frequency using EEG devices. It beautifully bypasses the earthly noise and directly targets your dormant genius without requiring any difficult physical efforts or long meditation. If you are ready, the link is waiting for you in the first line of the description. You do not have to rush, because the door will remain open for your spirit. But if you need the full prophetic context first, I warmly invite you to stay here. For those who are staying, let us pull back the dark curtain on the very next chapter of your spectacular destiny. Your job was never the final destination. The Father is replacing it with something that will stun your mind. Your season of hidden preparation is officially closing right now. Lock your focus here as we enter the deep waters of your true calling. You were born for greatness, and your true elevation begins today. You have been looking at your situation through a distorted lens. The world told you that losing interest in your career is a terrible flaw. They made you feel guilty for your lack of corporate ambition. But heaven is declaring that your sudden apathy is a clear sign of divine alignment, because you can no longer breathe in an environment that is dead. Your job was never designed to be your permanent home. It was merely a temporary scaffolding for your destiny. The Father placed you in that room to hide your light from premature exposure. You were resting inside a silent spiritual incubator, and now the scaffolding must fall away completely so that your true kingdom assignment can be revealed to the nations. Do not weep over a door that God is closing with his own hand. The enemy wants you to view this transition as a humiliating public failure. He whispers cruel lies into your ears during your long commutes. But you must understand that your corporate demotion is actually a celestial promotion, because heaven is fiercely stripping away your false identity to make room for your authentic mantle. Let us look at the ancient patterns written in the sacred scriptures. Consider the incredible journey of Joseph in the land of Egypt. He was a chosen child who carried magnificent prophetic dreams of dominion. Yet his path did not lead directly to a golden palace. He was brutally betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a dark pit before he became a common slave in a foreign house. Joseph worked diligently in the house of Potiphar for many years. He managed the entire estate with absolute integrity and supernatural wisdom. But that comfortable position was still a temporary station. He was falsely accused and thrown into a deep prison cell where his feet were bound with heavy iron chains. He lost his occupation and his daily comfort in a single afternoon. He sat in that dark dungeon for 2 long years while his soul grew strong. He felt completely forgotten by the world and abandoned by his friends. But the prison was not his final destination. It was a strategic isolation chamber where his character was being refined because God was preparing him to manage the wealth of an entire empire during a global famine. Joseph was a successful manager in the house of Potiphar, but he would have remained a high-level slave for the rest of his life. The corporate crisis was a divine redirection. The stripping of his job was the very catalyst that broke his generational limitations and placed him on the right timeline toward his majestic throne. Think about the great prophet Moses in the vast wilderness. He was raised as a prince in the majestic palaces of Egypt. He possessed the finest education and the ultimate military training of his era. He was fully prepared to rule the nation through regular earthly power. But his human plans were completely shattered when he was forced to flee into the desert of Midian. Moses went from being a powerful prince to a humble shepherd. He spent 40 long years tending sheep in a quiet wilderness. This was a massive demotion in the eyes of Egyptian society. And his former peers probably thought he was a complete failure because he walked in absolute silence while his hands became rough from daily manual labor. But that quiet desert was a holy furnace of alignment. The Father was systematically melting away his Egyptian pride. The wilderness insulation protected his mind from the toxic frequencies of Pharaoh. And in that deep stillness, Moses finally heard the sovereign voice of God, speaking from a burning bush that could never be consumed. His shepherd job was just a temporary assignment. He was being trained to lead millions of souls out of heavy bondage. He needed to learn the paths of the desert. Your current workplace isolation is operating under the exact same spiritual laws. because heaven is calibrating your spirit for a weight of glory you cannot yet comprehend. You have been praying for financial freedom for a very long time. You looked for it inside an enslaving corporate matrix. God had to disrupt your employment status to force you out of your comfort zone. He shook your corporate foundations because he wanted to disconnect your mind from the survival frequency of the marketplace completely. The system of this world wants to keep you small. They want to turn your divine calling into a predictable routine of survival. They train your mind to worship a steady salary. But your spiritual DNA is wired for supernatural abundance because society always fears the awakening of a true cycle breaker. You are a celestial warrior operating in enemy territory. You cannot thrive in an environment built on greed and corporate manipulation. The systemic oppression you face is the ultimate confirmation of your high frequency. The enemy is fighting you so fiercely because he knows that your total awakening will permanently shatter his financial hold over your entire family line. Let us stop playing safe games today. You have been blaming your boss for your daily office misery. You have been pointing your fingers at the corrupt company system. But heaven is pulling back the curtain to show you the ultimate blocker in your life. You have grown comfortable wearing the familiar heavy armor of a victim because it protects you from the terrifying magnitude of your true spiritual power. You secretly fear that if you become rich, you will lose your spiritual purity. The enemy planted that wicked lie in your head when you were young. You watched your family struggle, and you simply normalized poverty. You submissively accepted a tiny monthly paycheck at your ordinary desk job because it felt completely safe to stay small while the world moved ahead. But your financial lack is not a holy badge of honor. God is not calling you to struggle forever in a dark cubicle. He did not create your soul just to pay monthly bills. The Father is replacing your career with a sovereign, automated flow of divine abundance. He is shifting your operation from human effort to spiritual alignment. The sudden blessings of heaven will naturally pursue your life every single day because your renewed inner frequency will directly command the atmosphere of the physical marketplace. Let us be clear about what is happening to your life right now. You are experiencing a mandatory transition from a survival identity to your original sovereign purpose. This shift requires you to stop trying to fix an office environment that God has already judged and completely abandoned. You must fully accept that your old baseline is gone forever because your only real task today is to align your waking mind with the new frequency. This is the exact reason why your old career paths are blocked. The Father is systematically closing those traditional doors to protect your soul from wasting its precious spiritual energy on temporary corporate projects that do not matter. You are being redirected toward a higher kingdom assignment that will establish your generational legacy. You are the specific person chosen to break the financial limitations of your family. Do not look back at the burning bridge. Remember when I mentioned a digital frequency at the end of our first chapter? 30 minutes ago, I briefly named a unique restoration tool called the Genius Song. Now, it is time to walk through the exact mechanism of this divine protocol. This is not a human commercial pitch. It is a physical anchor for your spiritual breakthrough because you have finally arrived at the precise moment where passive teaching must transition into real physical obedience. You were born with a magnificent gamma brainwave that was strong during your childhood years. You learned everything quickly, and your intuition was incredibly sharp. But the highly toxic systems of the modern world completely extinguished that original frequency when you turned 7 years old and entered their rigid educational matrix. Scientists call this the decline effect. Your current workplace exhaustion is the physical result of your dormant brainwave patterns. Consider the journey of a 51-year-old provider. He lost his occupation during a sudden corporate downsizing. He spent nearly 2 years searching for a new job while his mind was trapped in a heavy brain fog. Every time he entered an interview room, his brain would freeze up completely. The right words simply refused to come out. He felt completely useless and worried about his financial survival every single night. Then he discovered this specific 7-minute audio track. He decided to listen to it daily. On the 11th day of his activation, a massive shift occurred inside his head. He entered his next interview with an unshakable confidence and received a senior management offer that was significantly better than his old career. He openly admitted that the dramatic change happened inside his brain. This track was developed by a brilliant neuroscientist. Dr. Robert Lake dedicated 34 years of his life to mapping these complex neural pathways. He discovered that specific sound waves can trigger brain entrainment from the outside. Leading universities like MIT and Harvard have verified this mechanism using advanced EEG equipment because the results are fully repeatable. They prove that you can safely reactivate your dormant gamma wave. You might think that you have already tried everything to fix your life. You spent months practicing meditation or listening to ordinary healing music without seeing any real results. But you must understand that those traditional methods operate on a completely different principle. They passively ask your exhausted brain to change itself from the inside, while this digital protocol directly stimulates your cells from the outside. I want to pause here. I know that some of you are facing severe financial limitations at this very moment. I would never disrespect your personal situation or minimize the intense struggles you are currently enduring. $39 is a very significant decision when you are worried about paying your bills next week. But you must look at this choice through the eyes of an investor rather than a consumer who is merely spending money on a temporary distraction. Dr. Robert Lake deliberately chose accessibility over institutional greed. A single private therapy session can easily cost $150. A weekend spiritual retreat can demand up to $800 from your pocket. And that is why this protocol is positioned at a one-time payment of $39. You are not just receiving a single audio track today. He is adding 4 premium bonuses to complete your neural restoration sequence. You will get the Genius Child audio track, which is valued at $19, and the total value of this magnificent bonus bundle is $80, which comes to you completely free. Your peace of mind is fully honored here. Dr. Lake provides a 90-day keep the bonus guarantee. If your spirit does not fully align with the frequency, you can simply send a basic email to receive your full refund. You will keep all 4 bonuses as a genuine apology. The only risk is staying inside that office cage. The season of your workplace suppression has officially ended. Every single day your gamma wave remains dormant is a day you choose to live beneath your potential. You cannot afford to waste another year waiting for a bad corporate system to change. Your destiny requires an immediate step of obedience. I need to protect your spiritual alignment before you look elsewhere. A massive army of imitation products currently exists on third-party marketplaces online. They use empty audio files with no real brain entrainment technology inside them because the enemy creates clever decoys to scramble your frequency. The only verified original source is the link left for you below. We have reached a sacred moment of decision. I am asking you to pause your busy thoughts right now. Place your right hand directly over your heart. Take a very deep breath while the heavy noise of the physical world fades away completely. This choice is not about a small payment of $39. This is a sovereign declaration of your true identity. You are deciding whether you believe in the magnificent power God placed inside your spiritual DNA. If your spirit already hears the divine pull, your soul knows exactly what to do. The threshold is ready. You only need to take the first physical step. The door is wide open for your liberation. The verified original link is waiting for you in the description and the pinned comment. When you complete your checkout process, the very next page may look like another commercial offer. I want to tell you the complete truth about that door before you arrive there. It is actually the second door Dr. Lake created for your long journey. You will have a brief moment to evaluate that advanced invitation. Either choice you make will be fully respected by heaven, because there is absolutely no pressure or transactional trickery inside this sacred room. When that phase reveals itself today, you will recognize the language. Now let us seal this entire prophetic message into your reality. Enter into a posture of absolute reverence with me right now. The time of your workplace captivity has officially expired, because the Father is stepping onto your battlefield to fight for your total financial freedom. Speak these exact words out loud with your entire soul. I declare that my job is no longer my final destination. I fully release the exhausting burden of trying to please a corporate matrix. I break every single assignment of delay that was launched against my livelihood. I am not a helpless victim of an office system, because my identity is rooted in heaven. I command the heavy spirit of chronic fatigue to leave my body immediately. My neural pathways are opening up to receive the original frequency of the Father. I reclaim the magnificent genius that was stolen from my life. I am a generational cycle breaker, and my season of public elevation begins today. I welcome the automated flow of divine abundance into my household. Every single door that was shut by wicked hands is unlocking right now. The wealth of the hidden empires is being redirected toward my kingdom assignment. I seal this sovereign decree in the courts of heaven, and I receive my total freedom. Take a very deep breath and rest in this absolute peace. Type Amen in the comments section below to permanently seal this declaration into your physical reality. You can also type 777 to signal your agreement with the universe. Your written word acts as a holy seal that the enemy cannot break. Hit the like button right now. Do not do it for this channel. Do it so this exact prophetic warning can reach another chosen one who is currently struggling in corporate silence. Share this message with a tired worker who needs help. Subscribe to this platform immediately so you do not miss the next directive. Heaven is completely finished with your season of suppression. Walk out of that office building with an unshakable confidence tomorrow morning. Your presence carries a rare anointing that will shift the physical atmosphere completely. You are fully protected, and your supernatural acceleration starts right now.